Hi guys, it's Reagan and today I'm here to do a very excited book tag inspired by a new release, Melissa De La Cruz, and that is her newest release called Something in Between. I just want to let you guys know before I jump in that I am working with Harlequin Teen for this video. This novel is so exciting and it is inspiring this book tag. This follows our main character Jasmine, who's always done what has been expected of her whole life. Never rebelled, very focused on her studies, very focused on making her Filipino immigrant parents very proud. She wants to get a full scholarship to be able to study at a great university, things along that. However, on the eve of a National Award Scholar dinner, she finds out from her parents that their visas are expired and they're actually living in America illegally. This kind of sets Jasmine on a sort of personal journey. She starts for the first time in her life to rebel, doing all those things she's always told herself she could not do. She meets a boy, things get complicated. Personally, I love that this is a story that not only follows a person of color main character, but it also follows someone who is an immigrant and is living in America on a visa, and just the experience behind all of that. I just really appreciate the representation that's in this story, and not to mention it sounds really fun, but also has a nice heavy element to it as well, which is always a good thing to find in contemporary. So in honor of this book, it inspired a book tag called Fairy Tales IRL, or Fairy Tales in Real Life. And basically this book tag is going to be talking about some of my favorite contemporary reads and how they fit a lot of my favorite, let's be real, I read a lot of fantasy tropes, and how those are found to be in real life situations as well. This might be a little surprising, but I feel like a lot of people forget that I do read contemporary books. I like contemporary books, and it's always fun for me to relate contemporary to fantasy because we all know fantasy is like the king in my life. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. First question and first fantasy trope is the fairy godmother. Give an example of a really great motherly or fatherly figure that gives our main protagonist a lot of advice. For this, I'm going with Reagan from Fangirl. Your first reaction might be, she doesn't really seem that motherly, but in my opinion, I feel like she really gives the support and also pushes our main character Kath to go out and try new things. And while she's very bold and rash and brass and all those words, she's also really supportive in her own very unique way, and honestly she's one of my favorite characters ever, so I had to include her on this list. Question 2 is Prince Charming. Name a character in a contemporary novel that had to go on or go out of their way or go on a journey to help the person that they love. For this, I'm going with like every character in the Summer trilogy. This contemporary trilogy not only murdered my insides, but it was just full of countless like sacrifices and all things like that for the people you love. I love this trilogy. It follows 3 characters that are just so invested in each other. They have such complicated lives and it's just like so good. It was everything for me, and I think you could totally read it in the wintertime because whatever, what are rules? Question 3 is Forbidden Fruit. Name a character that gave into temptation or was struggling with temptation. For this, I'm going with Anna from Anna and the French Kiss, and also St. Clair. I chose them because one of the characters is in a relationship and yet they are definitely kind of tempted by each other to cheat, and I feel like cheating is one of the ultimate forbidden fruits that can happen in real life, because cheating is not good. But I'm sure a lot of people are tempted to do so. It's not good though. But I just felt like those 2 characters really represented forbidden fruit, if you will. Question 4 is When the Clock Strikes Midnight. Name a story that has an event that is impending, that is creating fear or anxiety in a group of people. For this, I'm going with Since You've Been Gone. Our main character Emily is given a list by her best friend and also missing best friend, Salone. She has the whole summer to try to get through this list in hopes to find her friend again. She's very stressed out because a lot of these things on the list are very much outside of her comfort zone, but she only has till the end of summer to get them accomplished, so she's very much on a timeline. Question 5 is the Big Bad Wolf. Name an antagonist, real or like metaphorical, that the protagonist struggles against and just feels helpless against. For this, I am naming everyone in this story, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I say that meaning I feel like every person in this story's worst enemy is themselves. The story is absolutely fantastic. It deals with so many important issues. I would highly recommend this book if you have not. But basically, every character in this story assumes things about themselves and also projects their feelings onto other people, and have a hard time dealing with their own personal fears and inadequacies that they basically ruin their lives. Like, to be honest, in a lot of ways they do. It's an absolutely fascinating story, but they are definitely their own worst enemies, to put it simply. Question 6 is the power within you. Name a character that felt they were ordinary but ultimately found extreme strength within themselves. For this, I'm going with the main character from The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It deals with a main character who's battling not only with the unexpected death of his brother, but also mental illness. He battles with schizophrenia. Throughout this story, he is struggling with his own mental illness, and ultimately he has to come to a resolution within himself to basically accept himself for who he is and kind of find that inner strength to basically make sure he's going along the right path. This, again, is one of the most powerful stories I've ever read. It has very interesting perspectives. Highly would recommend if you have not read it. It's amazing. It's up here in this stack of books because I can't be without it. Question 7 is the grand ball. Name an event or a situation in a story where one of the characters struggled with fitting in and had kind of like a major outing and trying to fit in. For this, I'm going to go with Lara Jean from To All the Boys I'd Loved Before. I feel like there are countless situations in the story and in their sequels where Lara Jean is put outside of her comfort zone and forced to kind of go to an event where she feels like she's going to stand out, be it a dance, be it a school trip. She feels like as a character, she's not very popular, she's kind of odd, and because of that people kind of talk about her, but I'm proud of her for going to those events. Again, one of my favorite stories also. Jenny Han is like serious, gets me right in the feels. The 8th trope, or question 8, is fairest of them all. Name a situation where there is the contemporary pressure of outer beauty and how that kind of clashed with the perspective of inner beauty and how those kind of interacted with each other. For this, I'm going with the story The Duff, just in general. This story is about a girl who's literally deemed herself or have been called the ugly fat friend, which one is a horrible, just a horrible thing in general. But basically, it's all about our main character coming to terms not only with herself, but accepting herself and her own personal beauty and kind of struggling with her own self-worth throughout the entire novel, and ultimately accepting that what she has to offer internally is much more important than what other people view her on the outside, which is just the perspective that everyone should have. Trope number 9 is the evil stepmother. Name a character or a situation where a character is stepping into a role which is causing a lot of resentment or anger on behalf of someone else. I'm gonna go with The Nest here. This story follows a group of highly dysfunctional siblings. They all basically hate each other, but they especially resent the special famous one called Leo, who basically squandered all of their money at the very beginning of this novel, and basically all of these characters have to grow to not only accept, I guess, each other as a family and kind of understand the roles that they have to play in each other's lives, but they also have to kind of hopefully maybe get over their resentment for Leo, who is probably one of the most self-indulgent and self-obsessed characters I have ever read before in my entire life. And lastly, the last trope is the happily ever after. Name a set of characters or characters who had a tough road but ultimately found happiness. And for this, I'm going with Aristotle and Dante. Discover the secrets of the universe. The two main characters in this book go through so much. This is one of my favorite stories of all time. It's a beautiful story of friendship and family and growing to understand each other and appreciating people's things that aren't perfect, but also loving them for themselves anyway. It's such a beautiful story of like forgiveness and growth, and ultimately it's just such a touching, wonderful story. I don't want to spoil anything, but ultimately there is a line of happiness in this book that is just so beautiful and touching that you just have to read to find out more. Alrighty guys, that is the Fairy Tales IRL tag. Let me know down below some of your tropes that fit your favorite contemporary books. I would love to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I tag all of you. If you're interested in doing it, please do it and let me know. Anyway, I will see you guys soon with another video soon. Goodbye!